So this is the unstable squat. Now that you've practiced your squat and you're perfecting your technique and you're getting really good at it, it's a good idea to start progressing through unstable platforms, so whatever you're standing on. The first place to start is just a mat or a pillow or something like that. Something that's close to the ground but adds a little bit of instability, and you build yourself up over time. So, I'll take an AirX pad and work somebody through that, and then we'll fold it up more and more over time, and it becomes less and less stable. Working yourself to something like a tilt board is definitely excellent to work on, and if you're in an extreme case, you really want to accelerate the instability of this, you can do this standing on a ball. A word of warning: when you're working on a ball, work with somebody who knows what they're talking about, because you need to do it in a secure place first, so that, and when I do it in a secure place all the time, because, things happen, and I've seen people get injured doing this, and I've certainly had moments where I've felt very unstable even though I practiced it a lot. So what we're going to demonstrate right now is the tilt board. This is a really great goal for everybody, and it's important that you use a tilt board, not necessarily a wobble board, and you have the tilt board so that it's set to go from side to side, not from front to back, and that's so that you can maintain your center of gravity there. So I'll get you to hop up on there. So depending on the tilt board you have, there are some tilt boards that are wider. These square tilt boards are typically good, and you can just set your feet to the outer limits of the tilt board. The first thing you want to do before you do anything is get to know the tilt board, and to do that, what we get people to do is just tilt it from one side to the other, so go all the way slowly from one side to the other. And what's important is that the movement of the board isn't reflected in your hips, okay? What we want is the movement of the board to be reflected only in your legs. So just demo with your hips. So if you're ending up in this position like this is really rough on your back. This is definitely not a position we want to be squatting in. And you're accommodating the board with your pelvis and lower back. So you tilt your pelvis down so that as if you were standing on solid ground, your pelvis looks like it would when you're standing on solid ground. So you practice this back and forth until you get really good at it, keeping your pelvis stable and having all the accommodation in the legs themselves. Once you get yourself to that point, then you can start squatting, and you can put weight on your back if you want to do this, or you can run an elastic underneath the tilt board if it has a hole. Some tilt boards have a hole where you can put an elastic there. But feel free to start without any weight, because you'll definitely be much more activity in your legs, and then progress yourself to working with some sort of resistance. So from the ground up, like we always do, you're going to have 60% of the weight in your heels. You set your neutral spine, you set your TVA, do all those big three and really pay attention to what's going on there. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to go through the exercise itself, so sitting back, making sure that you're squatting properly. And I don't want the movement of the board to stop you from going through the exercise. So a lot of people, they'll start doing this sort of stuff. They get halfway through the squat, the board starts moving, and they pause to try and correct it. We don't want you to do that. We want you to ignore the board, let your body deal with the instability, and go through your exercise anyway. Okay? So feel, like I said before, progress yourself from something that's minimally unstable and go as far as you're comfortable, and make sure that it's something that's safe. Okay?